Hey everyone, and welcome to a family health moment. Well, friends, my family is experiencing some irritation, impatience, even some misbehavior. Imagine that. Um, just concerning the length, the reality of the season we find ourselves in. And I wonder if your family may be a bit like mine. Um, I am aware that my son is so ready to have a play day and play closely with his friends. I noticed my daughter said to our neighbor last night, in June the zoo opens and I get my hair cut, and I just had to chuckle at that reality that now marks her world. What would seem to be common, zoo weekly trips are now something almost far off in the distance. And so friends, if you're like my family, the level of up and down that roller coaster is certainly present. And so I want to invite us to consider a simple element that we can put into our daily lives for our kiddos. And it is something that I learned while attending the Empowered to Connect conference. That conference began by Dr. Karen Purvis. And she did a lot of work with children from hard places through connecting and empowering. She has since gone to be with Jesus, but her work continues on through this conference. And when I heard this phrase, I was struck, like it caught my attention, but it was the phrase that spending time does not equal deep connection. And I thought, what? And so as I listened in, I learned through the presenter, when we spend time, and let's face it, friends, we're spending a lot of time with our kiddos right now. But when we spend time through homework or homeschooling right now, through table manners at dinner time, or even bathing or reading before bed, going for family bike rides, those are great, but they may not give the deep connection that our children so need. And so in a time when their world is already a little bit rocky, and with the transition of school ending, and then the typical summer won't be as we've known it in the past, that it probably will be a bit ambiguous for our kiddos this coming summer, to give them a consistent, predictable time of one-on-one time, I think will be really helpful and beneficial for the overall health of our families. And so I want you to consider this with me. My husband and I have begun to implement it, and we've spent a lot of time playing with the dollhouse. And in this time of one-on-one time with our kiddos, it would look like simply that, where one child is with one caregiver. And so if there are multiple children in your home, I just invite you to consider having them take turns. If you live in a two-parent home, that could look like one parent working with one kiddo, while another parent is with the other kiddo until all the kiddos have gone through their one-on-one time. And in this time, we want to give them an opportunity for them to be their authentic selves. We want it to be child-led, so the children pick the activity. And so we could set it up simply like, we're going to start this fun thing called one-on-one time, and in those 10 minutes you're going to get to choose what we do. And though it will be short, 10 minutes goes by pretty quickly, you can depend that this will happen every other day or every day. If that can be integrated into your daily life, that would be awesome. And so in this time, you get to pick, and I'll just be with you, and I'll play with you, or I'll do the activity with you. And so my daughter always chooses pretend play, while my son often chooses, he's currently making a garage with his daddy during their one-on-one time for his remote control cars to go into. But in this time, as a caregiver, as a parent, I want to communicate to my kiddo that he or she is seen, heard, and valued. I want this time to be a time that is free of no questions, so free of questions. It's free of correcting. It's free of teaching. It is simply me following their lead and so it's a child-directed activity. In this time, it's also an opportunity where I get to speak character praise over them, where I get to share how I view their identity. It is a time where I get to just encourage them to be their authentic selves. And it is a space where I practice simply connecting with them, where I practice being present and offering my whole self to their selves, so that in this time they learn that consistent, predictable time is theirs, that they learn again that they're seen, heard, and valued. It's not just spoken to them, but they see it lived out through this playtime. And then I am, through playfulness, practicing some really deep connection with my kiddos. And so, again, as we're in a season of unpredictability, of unknowns, I think this is a great opportunity for us to integrate some consistency for them, some predictability for them. You know, my husband and I, when we set it up, we're like, we probably can't realistic give every day, but can we set a goal for 4 days a week? And so I want to encourage you with that. The ideal, the gold standard would be every day for 10 minutes. But if you can't manage that, could you try 4 or 5 times a week? And I think we'll see some really positive impact or positive benefit to this one-on-one time with our kiddos. So go and play.